UFC Vegas 91 is coming up this weekend, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels, and welcome back to another complete betting guide, like I just said. Guys, if you'd like to skip to any particular part of the video, timestamps will be there. If you'd like to skip to any particular part, we're going to go through confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that I don't believe you should be betting on, lock of the week, and we are also going to be getting into a fun part of the video, looking for props, and then building ridiculous parlays. Stay tuned for all of it, guys, but let's get started with my confident picks for the video. The first confident pick I have is Ivana Petrovic. She's taking on Na Liang, guys. Long story short, Na Liang hasn't been able to put it together. She starts off the fight looking okay, and then she just ends up just completely bombing. And Ivana Petrovic is somebody who I believe has a little bit of potential. I don't think she's anything too special, to be honest with you, but I want to talk. I think Ivana Petrovic's going to get it done. And it is important to note, guys, I have an entire full card breakdown video diving in deeper to these fights. It's going to be a little bit more of a... I try to make these betting guide videos as quick as possible. I try to be brief with why I think these fighters are going to win. But let's move on. Let's move on to another fight. That being Ketlen Souza versus Marnik Man. All right. Long story short, I believe Marnik Man to be one of the worst fighters we have ever seen in the UFC. That's pretty much all there is to it. Marnik Man could be fighting anybody in this division, and I believe that she would lose. So, Ketlen Souza, I am definitely on the side of. Let's talk about another confident pick. That is going to be Uros Medic. Guys, Tim Means had a good performance last time around, but in reality, he is a shell of the fighter that he once was. I love Tim Means. I'm a big fan of Tim Means. What we have, Uros Medic, who is actively improving most times that we see him in the octagon, and I think this fight's going to remain on the feet, and I think Uros Medic is going to, unfortunately, really beat the brakes off of Tim Means here. I don't know what happened in Tim Means' last performance. He looked like he wasn't 40, but at the end of the day, he's probably going to show up and look like he did in one of these last few fights. It's unfortunate. I'll be cheering for Tim Means, but what can you do? Anyways, let's talk about another confident pick, that being Karine Silva. Now, she is taking on Ariane Lipski, and it is important to note, while I still am confident in Karine Silva to win, Ariane Lipski has put together a nice 3-fight win streak and has been improving herself. So I do see a potential upset for this one, but I still, at the end of the day, am confident in Karine Silva. She has looked flawless since she's coming to the UFC. She's one of the fighters in the flyweight division that actually has technique, something that you don't see too often in WMA divisions, and it's that simple, man. I think Karine Silva is going to get the win. Now, for the last confident pick, before we get into underdog opportunities, I want to talk about Matheus Nicolau. I don't know what else to say besides I think Matheus Nicolau will be a little bit better no matter where the fight is. You want to talk about on the feet, ground, you want to fight Muay Thai, you want to clinch. No matter what it is, I just think Matheus Nicolau is a little bit better than Alex Perez everywhere. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided domination. I just think that Matheus Nicolau is going to coast his way to a victory. Now, guys, I want to talk about, well, actually, one underdog opportunity. Usually I have a few underdog opportunities, but this card's a little bit dicey for betting, to be honest with you. So there is one underdog opportunity I have for you. Out of all the fighters in the card, if there's going to be an upset, I do like it to be this fighter. That being Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. I believe that David Onama is being overlooked. I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm definitely not putting my money on it, okay? I want to be honest with you guys. I'm just saying, if we saw an upset here and we saw David Onama clip Jonathan Pierce, it just wouldn't shock me. That's all. David Onama is sitting around a plus 140 underdog right now. Some spots you can see him at plus 130, 153 is the top I see him at. But regardless, David Onama is a pretty good fighter. He has real power in his hands, and the potential for him to catch Jonathan Pierce is absolutely there. So I don't mind his chances. Now, guys, there are a few fights that I believe you should be avoiding. We're going to go through them, and I'm going to tell you why pretty briefly. The first fight being Dontel Mays, Caio Machado. Dontel Mays, he sucks. He doesn't show up. I'm not saying Caio Machado is a great fighter, but he'll show up, and if he knocks you out, that's possible. I'm just saying, like, the potential for him to find a KO is there. He's inactive. He doesn't throw a lot of shots, but when he does, there's serious power right there. I've lost money on Dontel Mays, and I promise I'm not looking at this through bias because I've lost money. I'm just saying I've learned my lesson on Dontel Mays, man. The dude isn't the best fighter, but he can crack, man. He can really crack. Now, another fight that I don't believe you should be betting on is Johanna Diniz taking on Austin Lane. I almost had this one as an underdog opportunity, but I still don't think that Austin Lane's going to win the fight. It's just, you have a really big, fast heavyweight in Austin Lane The potential for him to find a KO is there. And we have seen so many times with these fighters that looked so good outside the UFC and then getting a win on the Contender Series. We've seen them have octagon jitters. We've seen them just not perform. Austin Lane has been in the UFC now. I know it's been a relatively quick UFC career, but I'm just not overly confident on Denise winning his UFC debut here. I need to see him get past Austin Lane before I'm on the hype train for this guy, because the technique is there. The skill is there. I believe he certainly has potential. I'm just not there yet. I don't believe you guys should be betting on this fight. I think you are counting out Austin Lane a little bit too much. Let's move on to the last fight that I believe you should be avoiding, that being Ryan Spann versus Bogdan Guskov. I almost bet on Ryan Spann, but I didn't, because Ryan Spann's one of the most inconsistent fighters you will ever see in the octagon. That's Ryan Spann for you, but Bogdan isn't good. He can just catch you, but that's the problem. If you put money against him, he can catch his opponent. Stay away from this one. Bogdan can upset a parlay. Ryan Spann is one of the most inconsistent fighters ever. I believe out of every fight on the card, this is the one that you should avoid the most. Now, let's talk about Lock of the Week, guys. Lock of the Week. The fighter that I believe is going to win as about as close to 100% as you can get is going to be Victor Henry. He's taking on Rani Yahya. Rani Yahya, unfortunately, is just a fighter who will try to take this fight to the ground. Victor Henry has the better footwork. He'll be faster. He'll have the takedown defense. And Rani Yahya is a shell of the fighter that he once was in his old age. Victor Henry has been looking good in his career. I know his record is far from perfect. His performances have been far from perfect, but I believe he will have pretty much an easy time beating Rani Yahya in here. Unfortunately, I hate talking about fighters like this, because I talk about like them being the shell of what they once were, but it's just reality for Rani Yahya. Now, guys, before we get into the fun part of the video, I want to take a little bit of a pause for a second. I talk a lot about betting on this channel. If you're interested in seeing exactly where I put my money, where my mouth is, if you want to see my official bets, my official plays, or you want to support the channel, join the membership. It is very, very cheap compared to other channels. Every single Thursday or Friday before the event, I'll post a community tab for members only, and I will be posting a members only video diving into all of the bets that I'm going to be making, talk about confidence levels, why I'm making the bets, if I'm targeting just value, although I do typically shoot for safety more than anything. If you're interested in either seeing what I'm picking, tailing anything, my reasoning, or if you want to support the channel, consider the membership. It is very, very cheap compared to other channels. Also, if you check the pinned comment description down below, you can get a discount at OddsJam by using code Clenbat when you sign up. It's a fantastic, fantastic tool. If you have a lot of sports books, it's really where it shines. You can find the best odds, and that's far from the only thing that you can do on it. So check that out. Check out the channel membership. I really appreciate you guys. Now, let's talk about some props. Let's look for some props, guys. This is kind of the more fun part of the video, where we just like kind of randomly talk about what I like, if there's anything I don't like. I want to talk about just some fights on the card, man. So they have OddsJam over here where you can find the best odds on things. That's kind of where I'm going to stick for, because most fights at the time of recording this video, you were seeing it the night before. We still don't have a lot to really dive into where it's like TKO props or anything like that. Regardless, I am a big fan of over 1.5 round lines, and unfortunately, we don't see a lot of that for this time around. So we'll talk about the fights. Michael Figlak, Austin Hubbard. Oh, man. So I don't mind the idea of over 2.5. I don't, but the problem is I'm a big fan of 1.5. Kai Machado, Dontel Mays, 160, not worth it in my opinion. Marnik Mann versus Ketlin Souza. As much of crap I just talked about Marnik Mann, she is a tough fighter, so I actually don't mind the idea of that fight going to decision, but at minus 255, I don't know if I'm going to hit that. Another one, okay, one that's interesting is 1.5 we have over here for David Onama, Jonathan Pierce. Not going to touch up myself. For Alex Perez and Mateus Nicolau, we have the over 4.5 being plus 115. That's something I'll actually consider hitting. I actually really don't mind that for plus money. You have two really, really tough guys. Look out for the membership if you're interested to see where I'm actually putting, like I said, putting my money where my mouth is, because I talk a lot about this. Anyways, Uros Medic, Tim Means, I don't love that either. But Bogdan Guskov, Ryan Spann, over 1.5 rounds is plus 208. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't mind that at all. I know that's definitely risky, but for the value there, oh my God, that is absolutely wild. Oh my God. On Betway, I'm looking at my other monitor over here. On Betway, it's plus 300. Whew, I'm hitting that. I'm probably going to hit that. Jeez. Over 2.5 rounds is plus 450. That might be worth it, man. Anyways, plus money for Ariane Lipski versus Karina Silva too. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. 2.5 though, I don't really like. I don't mind like the odds there. I'm not saying that's going to hit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I like my chances. Other than that, I don't really see too much. Ivana Petrovic versus Na Liang is something that's very interesting at minus 135 for over 1.5, but Na Liang is just a matter of time before like where she breaks down. Other than that, nothing too crazy over there. But guys, I want to move on to the other fun part of the video we have going on over here. I want to take a look at my sportsbook personally, that being Betway. And I know I say this every video, to be honest with you. It's just like, I want to find another sportsbook, but I've been too lazy as of recently. Betway's just been so user-friendly, man. You know, that's the only problem we have going on over here. But anyways, let's take a look at Betway, what we got going on over here. So this is the fun part of the video, guys, where we can just create some random parlays just to see what we can put up with over here. So let's take a look at some confident picks. Let's put Mateus Nicolau. Let's pick Carini Silva. Let's pick Uros Medic. Just a fun parlay, seeing what we can do over here. Victor Henry, although that's not necessarily worth it. We can take Ketlen Souza and Ivana Petrovic. That's plus, jeez, that's only plus almost 700. But what happens if you take out Victor Henry over here? That might be a little bit more worth it. But even then, it's just like, is he really going to lose that fight? I don't think so. Some other fighters, like, now that I'm looking at a little bit more into it here, I do see a little bit of value over here. So, like, I don't personally mind really diving, like, putting money on someone at Mateus Nicolau, these types of odds. But if you want to put it together and really get your money's worth, you can put, like, these two together. Then it's almost, you're getting towards 3 times your money. But Carini Silva at those odds, you know what? I'll be completely honest with you, because I did say this earlier in the full card breakdown video. I already have a bet on Carini Silva, and that was when she was at plus money, which was absolutely insane to me. I can't believe that I got her at those odds. So I hopped on that right away. But other than that, if you want to talk about, like, you could put, what's Victor Henry, Mateus Nicolau together? That's not bad. That's not bad. But even then, Victor Henry, you're really teetering the lines with that one. But we've seen worse, right? If you want to talk about, it's so weird too, looking at these fighters and putting together so many women's matchups, right? Because you don't usually do that, but those two together don't really make too much of a difference to me. I'm interested to see if they actually end up having over 1.5 round lines. But like, even if you want to put Uros Medic and Carini Silva together, that gets you plus money too. Or, excuse me, sorry about that. Or if you want to put Uros Medic and Mateus Nicolau, I don't mind that as well. I see quite a bit of value to be had. It's a little bit of dicey card to be betting, but if you can always find your spots as usual. But guys, let me know what you think about the picks down below. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching. If you are interested in another video, check it out on screen right now. I would love to see you over there. Take care, guys.